You make too many mistakes, you're going to be left on the shelf. In this day and age, the women that are actually the least promiscuous, the most traditional, don't have sexual experience, struggle to find a man. Whereas a woman with every surgery, with every tattoo, with all of her body out everywhere, she has endless queue of men. Now they're going to argue, no, but we don't want to marry those girls. They're actually lying. Men are very happy to marry the woman that gives them the most sexual pleasure. They think that's not true, but you ask them which of your exes or which woman had the biggest chokehold over you, and it will be usually the woman that they enjoyed the sex with the most. And when a woman learns that she can get away with murder simply because you're hyper attracted to her, it makes it impossible for her to respect and want to be with you. Impossible. Because it's like, how did I get here so easily? You must not be valuable. Whereas when we know that certain behaviors will make us insufferable to you because you don't give us a free pass because of our appearance or our sexual performance, we can finally respect you. So because of the culture we've got today, and because how men have worshipped sex in a way that they never really did before, I'm not blaming them, I'm blaming societal changes. It's made it very difficult for us to respect the man that we know, if we just simply know exactly how he likes it, he'll forgive us in 5 minutes. Or if we know when we turn our back, he'll be downloading an OnlyFans subscription. It's hard for us to respect that man.
All right, Luis, respect for the average man.
Can you play that one more time? After Luis, but I just need to see it one more time.
Yeah, I kind of I'm gonna tie into this, but I'm gonna tie in a little bit what we the previous clip that came up. When we have these conversations about people being independent and being hyper independent today, I find that today people are very hyper independent, right? People don't want no outside constructive criticism, no outside guidance, no outside input, right? It's sort of like, I want to lead and navigate my life however I want. And sort of when you give a society so much freedom and so much reign, people tend to align and adhere to bad behaviors. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we have people not going outside and ripping each other apart is because we have law and orders and sort of codes of conduct input in our society to maintain it from the foundation from cracking, from things to just going awry, right? You can feel comfortable going to places and doing certain things because you have a collective understanding that everybody is adhering to those things. That's not the same thing in dating. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, the reason why I find and I hear when we have these conversations that women want the independence because they want to do whatever they want, whenever they want, with whoever they want, at whatever moment, and nobody has that say or have that sense of you can't shame me from feeling guilty of this way. But I find it very odd that you want to have that set of freedom, but yet you want to reap all the benefits of being in a relationship and having that protection, that provision, and someone being there, right, at night, but yet operate in that manner. That never works out. That never is in alignment, and a lot of people are not being very honest with themselves. The other part I'm going to speak about is, people being, a lot of people, and since we're talking about women, a lot of women do practice non-monogamy for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just stop and think about it. I've had conversations with women that say, well, I've been single for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. That's crazy. Like, what is, like, imagine applying for a job and you tell them like, yeah, I haven't really been in the market for 7 years. It's like, what have you been doing all this time? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people would be like, oh, I've been focusing on school and this and that. But I've come to the realization that even that's a fallacy because women are always talking to somebody. You know what I'm saying? They always have somebody orbiting, you know what I'm saying, in their vicinity, or somebody talking to them or trying to get to them, or them giving attention to somebody in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? They might not enact on it, but let's not, us believing that also goes back to the main point of selling that delusion, right? And as far as respect is concerned, tying in into this clip, we have over sexualized and also sold the over sexualization of imagery in videography in our culture to the point that a lot of young men are kind of desensitized. I mean, just think about what getting hit with 1,500 images every single day of every week for an entire calendar year, up to the point. You know what I'm saying? These kids are like, they're hypersexualized from their 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? And you're wondering why, what is happening in our culture. You're wondering why. It's everywhere, from the magazines to the magazines to the news clips to advertising to billboards to what's on TV, what's in movies, etc. These young people have so much access to it, and we're like being like, oh no, like you're sheltering. You're not with your child 24/7. You're not with these young people 24/7. Even the schools,
Yeah.
the video games and what they see. And sort of like, yeah, it's easy to talk about it, juxtaposing it 50 years ago when we didn't have no social media, when we didn't have the internet, when we didn't have this great access to all these things, right? That made you like, wow, what would it be or feel to experience that? Of course. You know what I'm saying? You're planting the seeds, you know what I'm saying, of curiosity in a lot of people. In this instance, women.
I think it's more so the morality of it all, though. That's really the biggest difference between now and 50 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to someone where even now, if you go to church, most women not wearing stockings when they go to church. Back in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, if you did have some leg out, man, you better have some stockings on. That's not a thing no more. You know what I'm saying? It's often that you'll go to church, see women in short dresses, and they don't have on no stockings. There was a situation where I had filmed the Sweet 16 party, and I go to the Sweet 16 party, and I get there beforehand to get some looks prior to it. And as the girls are walking in, they're literally walking in with dresses like this, spaghetti strap dresses, titties out, dress right above right below they hip almost. Ain't no finger length dresses and skirts and none of that. They walking in there with heels on, the whole shabam, eyelashes, face full of makeup. And these kids are 15 and 16. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I'm not looking, but I'm uncomfortable because I'm supposed to be here to be. I'm recording images of these children, and they're literally in the most. They're exposed in the most like ridiculous way, where it's like, yo, what is going on? But the parents are walking them to the door. They know that they're wearing it. You know what I'm saying? The parents are sending them off to this party, even with prom. You know what I'm saying? We see it with prom where they're going to prom in see-through dresses with pasties on. So it's like, one, the kids are going to school like this. The parents are okaying them going to the school like this. And the school is okay with it. But in most cases,
Remember when they used to have the ruler? Remember the ruler? They come over.
Come on, man. That's what I was saying. You had to, if your dress or skirt went above your fingertips of you holding it. No, you can't, man. You better walk your ass back in the house and change. But that's not a thing anymore.
Yes,
So
it is in
now,
my household.
where in certain people's households for sure, but in many cases, on the wide grand scale, it's okay, it's normal. And then it's like we question what happened, or why are our children hypersexualized? Why are these teachers feeling comfortable doing what they're doing with these students? You know what I'm saying? Or even in churches, or wherever the case may be. Like we seeing this on a grand scale because the moralities overall in our society, in white, black, Mexican, whatever, I think everybody is on the same level where it's kind of like it's a free for all.
Well, those same people were starting to grow up and expose into that. So by the time they got to adulthood, they're viewing the younger people like, yeah, that's okay. They're just very liberal about it. They're very free, very, lackadaisical, quasi, about, what they do. And sort of it just builds on and builds on and builds on. You know what I'm saying? It really is important for the people who hold the flag or pass the mantle down to keep that same standard at a certain level. Once we've lowered the bar, it can only go right down to hell.